Howdy, Psychic Medium Danielle Garcia. We're here with your energy forecast for the week. Today is May 24th. How are you all doing? How are you liking the spikes of the Schumann Resonance? Holy cow, it's been a crazy ride. I'm still feeling the after effects with muscle tension and migraines and yada, 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 so on and so forth. Today, Schumann Resonance reads at a whopping 103 last time that I checked. Lots of different solar flares and geomagnetic activity has been going on this entire last week. And heck, let's face it, this entire last year, like what is going on? People ask, well, why do you keep bringing up the Schumann Resonance? You know, it's so dark and desolate and, you know, quite honestly a bummer. I kind of look at this as like a weather report. You know, we hear about the pollen so we can be proactive on dealing with allergies. We hear about the sun so we can be proactive on, you know, using sunscreen and whatever the UV ray index is and so on and so forth. And by looking at this, it helps me to be proactive on balancing my energy. If I already know that I've got stuff going on in my own life that might be emotionally draining or emotionally taxing, energetically taxing, and then this is going on as well, maybe I don't want to have that confrontation I was planning on. Maybe going to your boss this week might not be such a great idea. Maybe you want to wait for a more opportune time when the energies are a little more stable, a little more balanced. Science has shown that when the Schumann resonance spikes, that it definitely has an effect on our bodies. So how does it affect it? Well, when the Schumann resonance spikes, remember, we're supposed to be at a 7.83 hertz level. So when it spikes like this, it creates a disturbance in the synchronicity or the synchronization of our hearts as well as our brain functions. Ooh, my phone just popped. That's interesting. I'll take that as a confirmation. Back it up. So when the brain is not synchronizing correctly, it also throws off our melatonin values and our melatonin production. Want to know why your sleep sucks so hard during Schumann resonance spikes? Melatonin. Want to know why you might feel a little batshit crazy or seem to cry at things that you normally wouldn't? It can be because the melatonin actually disrupts the serotonin, your happy chemicals in your brain. And that can cause a disturbance with your emotional reaction. There's been lots and lots and lots of different studies about Schumann resonance. It's not something that I think doctors talk about, although I seriously wish that they would. There are many different mental health care workers out there that are aware of it, just as they are aware that every time there's a full moon, things seem to go a little crazy in an ER, or the psychiatrist or the therapist, the counselor might get more patients calling that are in more emotional distress. Everything affects us. Energy is energy is energy is energy. And plain and simple, Mother Earth's energy is changing. The changes in synchronization and melatonin can also affect our immune system, our blood pressure, heart rate, reproductive system, and so much more. It even throws off EEG readings, which are pretty important. You know, when you're getting a report on your brain's functionality, you kind of want those to be accurate. Several countries have done testing proving that during Schumann resonance changing and geomagnetic activity, that there's actually more admissions to hospitals, there's more violence, there's more accidents, there's more depression, there's more suicide, and it's obviously been reported to aggravate stress and anxiety. So knowing those things, we can be proactive. Maybe instead of going into rage mode, we need to take a chill pill, literally. Maybe we need to do meditation. Maybe we need to remove ourselves from a stressful situation. Maybe we need to call in sick to work just for the mental health benefit. There's so many different things that we can use this information for our highest, greatest good. And really it is balancing out. What's interesting to me is I did a little more deep dive. And if you ever want to take a deep dive, just Google How does Schumann resonance affect human beings? How does it affect health? Look for certain scientific studies. I didn't really find a lot in the US, but many other countries have done more of a deep dive from my limited research, obviously, than we have here in the States. In 2017, a spike of the Schumann resonance of 15 was considered great and substantial. In 2020, we reached values of the Schumann resonance over 700. 700. That's literally 100 times more than the rate it would normally be. Now think about that. If your normal blood pressure is a certain rate and suddenly you're 100 times more than that, or your temperature is a certain read and suddenly you're 100 times more than that, your pulse rate is a certain read and suddenly you're 100 times more than that, wouldn't your body freak out? What do you think's going on with Mother Earth? I think she's trying to tell us something. I think as she evolves, our bodies, our auras, our layers of mental body, spiritual body, emotional body, etheric body, etc., are all being called to adapt and to change right along with her. It's interesting to me that the most significant year of change in Schumann resonance coincided with a world pandemic. Keep in mind, Schumann affects the immune system. Schumann affects heart rate. Schumann affects brain activity. I can't think that this is a coincidence. I obviously don't have all the puzzle pieces here, but just felt guided to share that with you. So if you follow the Schumann resonance and you find these spikes, remember, grounding, get outside with nature. Use your tools for balancing. If you listen to meditation, if you do yoga, tai chi, qigong, sound healing, if you're into oils, if you're into crystals, whatever your thing is that helps you get out in balance, like that's so important. Water is fluidity, it's purification. It's a wonderful way to release a lot of that stored, trapped energy. And who knows, maybe it's even a good idea to pop a couple melatonin every day when the Schumann resonance is spiky. I'm going to start doing that and see if that helps with the other stuff that I've been feeling. Can't hurt at this point, right? This week, in 2 more days, we shift into a super full moon. This moon is known as the flower moon, as well as the super blood moon, because a lunar eclipse occurs on the night of the full moon. Lots and lots and lots of energy. This full moon is said to be about 3 times the energy that a quote-unquote normal full moon will be. So again, having that awareness and keeping that in mind, prepare. Make sure to have your tools around you, your coping strategy, mechanism, whatever you do to stay balanced and sane and a good vibe. Make sure that you prep and are ready for that. If you are sensitive, if you are an empath, that the moon's vibe affects. The lunar eclipse denotes completion and closure of things that have happened over the last 6 months. So this is also a good time to wrap up any loose ends that you may have and work on clearing those different things. We're also in a retrograde season. Saturn went retrograde yesterday, and that is a good time for clearing and release of karma. It's a good time to reflect on life, do a life review, and think of those things, those relationships that you wish to heal, those things that you have done that you're not so happy about, going to a place of going inside to self and finding forgiveness for self and helping to heal and release karma. Mercury goes retrograde on Friday the 29th, so watch for communication, contracts, focus, and technology to possibly go a bit wonky and out of sorts. The lunar eclipse gateway will be open for 2 weeks after the lunar eclipse, and that's a time to rise to more truth, to rise to more of your authentic self, to bring in those things into your life that make you happy, that are of the same wavelength and of the same vibration. Those 2 weeks are wonderful 2 weeks to manifest as well. Themes for this week are release and repair, grounding, and community. So think about what those mean to you. I'm going to pull some cards from my favorite deck, the Energy Oracle cards, and let's just see what comes through. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Oh, that's just me, not the cards. That's just my guide. Yeah, when all this energy is going like batshit crazy like this, it definitely burns through the hydration stores. So the first card, Happy Family. Let me pull it back so you can get a better look without the glare of my light. So Happy Family, there's a rainbow that shows there's the masculine and the feminine. So when I take this, this is about community. This is how do you identify yourself? How do you identify yourself and your identity within community? What role do you play? What is your part? How are you in balance, or are you in balance with masculine and feminine? Has nothing to do with how you identify yourself sexually. This has to do with masculine energy and female energy. Are you in balance? Patience reversed. So the Patience card, okay? She is, I really want you to see this, so let me make sure I hold it so I can get the glare away. All right, so you can see her beautiful angel ticking clock on her belly, her power center. Actually, it's more her solar plexus, right? Again, where she derives her identity of self from. Solar plexus is a place of power. Patience reversed means impatience, folks. Take a breather. Step back. It's not a great week for confrontation and going into fits of rage and anger. Like, we want to try to back off of that as much as possible this week, especially with the geomagnetic and galactic and Schumann Resonance stuff going on. The third card is third chakra, Archangel Chomuel. Check him out. He's holding a golden globe of light in the same place that the Patience card was holding her clock. Where is your power center? Now is the time to calibrate. Where is your power going? What are you investing your energy in? That life review that we talked about earlier in regards to Saturn retrograde, it's a good idea to have a check-in with yourself like that every day. Not of what did I do right, what did I do wrong, but more of a calibration. Where's my energy going? Where's my power center? How am I identifying myself today? Be good to yourself. Take it easy. These are some really, really strong energies coming in this week. Remember, you're not alone. And remember, it takes strength to reach out and ask for assistance. Have a blessed week.